Hello guys, and welcome to the final part, that is part 2 of the 2-part series on how to create a product launch landing page with Elementor. In part 1 of this series, I showed you how to create this landing page where your users can click on any of these call to actions to take them to this very section where they can fill out this form. I'll leave a link to part 1 in the description down below so you can go ahead and check it out. In this final part, I'll show you how you can add a countdown to your landing page, and instead of your client to fill the booking form directly on the page, I'll show you how we can make a pop-up for it like this. Isn't this cool? And finally, I'll show you how you can make your landing page both mobile and tablet friendly. So if this is what you want, keep watching. Hello guys, this is Sadiq here at Dikupages Web, where I do web tutorials just like this one. So if you are new here, consider subscribing. That said, let's jump into the video. So to build on our landing page, the first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my pop-up. To do that, I go to the back end of my website. So I exit to dashboard, and I'll go ahead and install a plugin. So I go over to plugins, add new. Under search plugins, I search for Popup Maker. And this is the very plugin I'm going to install by Popup Maker. Take note, there are 2 of them, and this is the very one I'm going to use. So I go ahead and install now. It is installed, I activate. Plugin activated successfully. Next, I go ahead and create my pop-up. So I hover on Popup Maker right here, then I click on create pop-up. I'll give it a title. Product launch. You can also go ahead and give it a pop-up title, but it is optional, so I'll leave it as it is. You can also give it a main content right here if you want, but in this tutorial I'm not going to use that because we are going to go ahead and use Elementor to design the content of our pop-up. Let me exit this store. Scrolling down, under pop-up settings, the first thing is triggers. We are not going to be using any triggers because we want our visitors to click on our call to action button in order to open up the pop-up. So I go over to targeting, and I choose a condition to target your pop-up. I drop down the arrow, and in here you see that we have general, posts, and going down is pages. So I go to pages section, then I go ahead and choose pages selected. Then select pages. I click in there to select my landing page. So I can start typing and it will show. I just go ahead and click on it to insert it. Perfect. Down here below are some other settings you can go ahead and perform. You can disable the pop-up for mobile and tablet devices, but we are not going to do this in this tutorial. Next, I go over to display. Under appearance, I drop down the arrow under pop-up theme, and I'm going to go ahead and use lightbox. Next, I go to size. Currently the size is set to medium, which is 60%, and we are not going to change that. The only thing I'm going to change in here is maximum width. I'm going to go ahead and make it 700, and I'll change the percentage to pixels, so we are going to use 700 pixels. There are other customizations you can go ahead and do, but I'm not going to touch any of this. I'll just go ahead and publish my pop-up. Now that my pop-up is created, I go over to Popup Maker again. Then I choose pop-up themes. In here, I go ahead and customize the lightbox. That is the theme I selected earlier. So I click on it. First is the overlay color. It is currently set to black. You can choose whatever color you want. And since I have black color as part of my landing page, I think this black color would be cool. So I don't change it. However, if you want to change, you can just go ahead and choose whatever color you want. But I'll stick to the black color. Awesome. Next, I go over to container, and that is what we are seeing right here. The only thing I'm going to go ahead and do is change the padding from 18 pixels to 0. I don't need any spacing in the container. Actually, I'll use Elementor to give my form some space. I go down and click on update. Now that the creation and design of our pop-up is done, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and assign the pop-up to my call to action button. So to do that, I click on all pop-ups. I'll exit this store for now, and this is the pop-up we created. Take note, and I'm going to go ahead and copy the CSS class beside the pop-up we just created. So I'll highlight this. I'll go ahead and copy it. Next, I'll go ahead and open my landing page. So I'll go over to pages. I have my landing page right here. I'll go ahead and edit it with Elementor. I right click, open link in a new tab so that we can come back to this later. Inside the Elementor editor, I'm going to go ahead and select my call to actions. But take note, my call to actions are currently linked to this form section right here. We don't want that anymore. So what I do is I click on the pencil icon on this button. Then I go over to advanced. Under CSS classes, I go ahead and enter my CSS class. That is what we've copied from our pop-up. I'll do the same thing for this button. So I click on the pencil icon, advanced CSS classes. I paste in my CSS class. Now I go ahead and update. Now let's preview to take a look. So if I click on the button, okay, it is still taking me to the form section. I'll exit from here. So what I do is I click on the pencil icon right here. You see that our pop-up is already working. I'll go ahead and remove this booking link under content. I close the pop-up and I'll do the same thing to this second call to action so that the button will not take us to the form section down below. I close this. Perfect. I update. Now let's take a look. If I click on the button now, it will open the pop-up. Take note, at the moment you won't see anything inside the pop-up because we have not embedded anything right there. I exit this. Let's test this button 2 out. Perfect. I close it up. Now that we've linked out our button to our pop-up, the next thing I'm going to show you is go ahead and create the content inside the pop-up. And the good news is that we already have part of the content, which is our form. So we are not going to be creating the form again. We just need to create a template and embed the form right there. So to create the content of my pop-up, I go to the back end of my website. I go ahead and click on templates. At the moment, I don't have any template. I go ahead and click on add new to create a new template. The template type is going to be a page, and I'll give my template a name which is optional. I'll call it product launch pop-up. I'll go ahead and create template and it will open with Elementor. I don't need all this. That is the name of my website, title of the page, as well as the footer section. So I go over to settings. Under page layout, I choose Elementor canvas. Everything is cleared. I go ahead and add a new section. So I add a single column section. Or better still, to make my work easy, I'll exit from here and I'll go back to my landing page, which is open with Elementor. And I'll just go ahead and grab the whole of this section. So I'll right click here, copy, come in here, right click, paste. Perfect. Next, I go ahead and add a text widget right here and I'll enter in my text. I'll go ahead and style my text. Typography, I choose Montserrat. Maybe instead of this title, book your seat, I can go ahead and enter product launch. You can give it whatever alignment you want. I make it left align. Take note that this section is having a pattern of 100 at top and at bottom. I don't need that, so I go ahead and link the values up and I'll make everything 50 instead of 100. Then I'll go ahead and publish my templates. Now that our template is created, the next thing we are going to do is go ahead and add the template to our pop-up. So to do that, we are going to copy the shortcode for this template. Now if I go to the back end of my website, exit to dashboard, then I go ahead and click on save templates. You see that I have my template right here, but there's no way we can get the shortcode to this template. And the reason is that we are using the free version of Elementor. If you are using the pro version of Elementor, you see the template shortcode right here. So how can we get the shortcode to our template? To get the shortcode to our template, we need to install a plugin. So I go over to plugins and I click on add new. Under search plugins, I search for Anywhere Elementor. I have Anywhere Elementor here by WP Vibes. I go ahead and click on install now. It is installed. I go ahead and activate. the plugin is activated successfully. Now what this plugin does is that it will give us the opportunity to be able to insert our template in whatever page we want. So we are going to go ahead and grab a shortcode from this particular plugin, that is Anywhere Elementor. To get that shortcode, I click on View Details, and in here I have the shortcode. I go ahead and select it, right click, copy. Take note that we are going to replace this ID with our template ID. I'll show you exactly how we can do that. I exit from here, then I'll go to my templates again. I'll just go ahead and click on the template, and right here is the ID of my template. Take note, so inside this URL, after post equals sign, you see a number here. That is the ID for our template. So in my case, I have 59. So 59 right here is the ID for my template. So you need to take notice of the post ID. However, remember I still have the shortcode copied to clipboard from Anywhere Elementor. So next I go ahead and open my Popup. So I just click on Popup Maker right here. Then I go ahead and click on it to edit. So in here I go ahead and paste my shortcode, and take note, we will replace this ID, that is XXX, with 59. That is what we saw in the template ID. So when this is done, I go ahead and click on update, and with this our template is added to our pop-up. So let's go back to the front end and refresh. So now if I click on this call to action, boom, I have my pop-up. Awesome. I close this. Let's test this one too out. I click on it, and boom, we are right there. Perfect. So with this, my visitors can go ahead and fill out this form and go ahead and book their seats. Now that we have succeeded in creating our pop-up, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and add my countdown right here. So to do that, I go to my page in Elementor. First of all, let's take this form out. We don't need it here anymore. So I just go ahead and exit it from here. Perfect. And going up right here, we add our countdown. So under search widgets, I search for counts. I have it here, the one with EA, that is essential add-ons for Elementor. So I go ahead and drag it right here. My countdown is inserted. Under content, I go to time settings, countdown due date. In here, you go ahead and choose the date you want your countdown to end. Maybe I want mine to end on 10th March. So I just go ahead and click on 10, and I'll have 11 days, 21 hours, 36 minutes. Awesome. You can also go ahead and choose the exact time you want your countdown to end on the 10th. So maybe I need mine to end at 8 p.m. or maybe a.m. I go out from here. Label position, currently it is set to block. You can choose inline if you want, but inline is not good, as you can see in here. So I'll change it back to block. The alignment, I leave it as center. Next is content settings. In here, if you don't want to display days, hours, minutes, and seconds, you can go ahead and toggle them off. But in my case, I leave everything as they are. If you want to add countdown separator, you can do that from here. It is currently set to dotted. That is what we see in here. You can also choose solid. So everything will depend upon what you want, but I don't really need a separator, so I toggle it off. Next is expire action. What do you want to see when your countdown expire? Currently it is set to none, and these are the various options you can choose. I leave it as none for now. Next, I go ahead and style up my countdown. So I go over to style. The box background color, I choose maybe black, and then I'm going to go ahead and reduce the opacity from here, maybe to this much. Perfect. And then the space between boxes, I make it 25 or maybe 26. I think 26 will be good for me, but you see that my labels are not in good shape. We can still work on that. So next, I go to color and typography. The digits color, I'll leave it as it is. Typography, I choose Montserrat. Meanwhile, I'll increase the size to 25 or 35. I think 35 is cool. Next is countdown label. The color should be white. typography, I choose Montserrat, and then the size, I make it 10. 10 is too small, maybe 13. I think 13 is cool. If you want to give your boxes different styles, you can come in here, individual box styling, and you can go ahead and give different colors to each and every one of them. I don't want to get overwhelmed, so I don't go in here. So that's all about my countdown. I go ahead and update my page. We can take a look at the preview. Perfect. This is cool. Now that I have my countdown in place, the next thing I'm going to do is go ahead and make my landing page mobile and tablet friendly. To do that, I click on responsive mode right here, and I'll start with tablet. First of all, I'll start from top. So the columns in here, I'm going to go ahead and change the width. So I click on edit column for the logo, and in here I'll make it 25. I'll make the column for the button to 25. Next, I change the size of my button right here. So I just click on it, then I go over to style. The typography, I make it 14. I go back to content, and I'll change the alignment to left. I exit from here, and this column, I'll select it and I'll change it to 50. Perfect. Next, I work on the hero section. First of all, this text here, I'll change the size. So I just select it, I go over to style. Under typography, I click on the pencil icon and I make it 45. Next, I work on the countdown. I click on the pencil icon, I go to style. The spacing, I make it 5. Under color and typography, I make it 20. That is for the digits. And then the labels, I change the typography to 10 or maybe 9. Let's see, 9. I think 9 is cool. You see that my countdown is still not in good shape, so I go back to content. Under label position, I choose block. Perfect. Here you see that my column is almost hitting the edge of the page, so I select the entire column. Then I go over to advanced. Under padding, I unlink the values. At left, I make it 20 so that I will provide a breathing room for my text. And now the hero section is done for tablet. Going down is the product section. I select the text here. I go over to style, typography. I make it 45. Awesome. Next is the text widget. I select it. Then I go to advanced. I'll just go ahead and unlink the values from here, and everything will be fine. Going down to this section, I just click to edit the inner section. Under content layout, I go over to vertical align and I choose middle. Awesome. And maybe the pattern for the entire section, I don't need this much. That is 100 for top and bottom. So I just select edit section right here. Then I go over to advanced. I unlink the values. So top, I'll make it 50 instead of 100, bottom to 50. And this is cool. So next is the demo section. Here, I'll just go ahead and decrease the pattern. So I click on edit section right here. Advanced, I unlink the values. Top is 50, and then bottom 50. Awesome. Going down in the speaker section, I don't do any big thing here. I only reduce the pattern. Under advanced, I unlink the values. Top 50, bottom 50. And finally is the footer section. I click in here. I don't need my text in 2 lines. I go over to style. Then I go down to content, typography. I'll make it 15 or maybe 14. I think 14 is cool. And I'll leave the rest as they are. So we've optimized for tablet. Next is mobile. So I start from top again. For mobile, I don't need the button on the header to show. So I just select the entire column. Then I go over to advanced. And the responsive, I had it for mobile. So if I preview this, you see that the button is gone. Maybe I don't also need the menu, so I can take it off. I just select the column. and I do the same thing under responsive. Then I go ahead and toggle on hide on mobile. I think this is cool. Next, I select my heading, and I'm going to go ahead and reduce the typography to 40. I'll go back to content, I center it. Next, I click on my text right here. Under style, I click on center. In here, the padding we created for this column under tablet is still active, so I select the column and I'll go ahead and remove it. Perfect, by just unlinking the values. Now right, I want to give it a padding of 50 and then left 50. I think 50 is too much. I'll make it 20 and 20 here as well. For the whole of the section, I'll edit it, advance, I unlink the values. Top will be 50, bottom 50. Awesome. In here you see that my product image is hitting the call to action button. So I select the column right here, that is edit column. Then I go over to advanced, I unlink the values and the padding. Top, I make it 50. Awesome. And now the hero section is done for mobile. I have my heading text right here. I select it, I edit it under style, I click on the pencil icon. The size, I change it to 40. So whatever size you enter in here will depend upon how large your content is, and I think the rest is cool. Perfect. Maybe I'll close this up. So I click on edit section, I just go ahead and unlink the values, and I like this style. Going down, speakers, I reduce the size of the text to 40 as well. Awesome. Going down is the icon section, that is the social icons. I just go ahead and align it center. Now let's see how we can make our pop-up mobile friendly. If I click on the button, you see that it's not looking cool. Let's see tablet view. Tablet is fine. So going back to mobile, we need to do something about it. So for this, I need to open up my template. So I go back to the back end of my website, then I go over to templates. I have my pop-up template right here. I edit it with Elementor. I go to responsive mode. I choose mobile. First of all, I select my heading, then I go over to style and the typography. Let's take a look at 40. I think 40 is cool. It's in 2 lines. So if you need it in 1 line, maybe you need to further reduce. Okay, I think 1 line is perfect. I need to change the padding. So I click on edit section. I go over to advanced, and the padding, I unlink the values. Top, I make it 50, bottom 50, and then left and right, I make it 20 each. Awesome. And I go ahead and update. Now if I come back in here and refresh my page, then I go back to responsive mode, mobile. I click on my button, and now my pop-up is looking cool on mobile. Perfect. I exit from here. Let's take a look. Awesome. I like this. This is cool. Call to action. Perfect. That's great. So now everything is set. The last thing we are going to do is go ahead and test our form. So I click on my call to action and I go ahead and fill the form. I'll fill out the form and I go ahead and click on book your seat. Thank you for your interest. We'll be in touch with you shortly. Now let me go ahead and check my mail to see how the submission will come up. I have my message in here, book your seat. I open it up and this is the content of the form. This is what the user has filled with. So I just go ahead and pick this information and use it for my launch. I exit from here. With this, we have come to the end of this tutorial. So that's it on how to create a product launch landing page with Elementor. I hope this video was helpful. If you found value, kindly hit the like button subscribe, and also enable the notification bell so that you miss out on future videos. Keep watching, and I'll see you in the next one.